Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you how to create a virtual machine in Windows 11, and we're gonna go through some basic settings first to allow us to be able to create a virtual machine. So what do you need for this video? You will need the version of Windows 11 Pro and higher to be able to do this. If you have a Windows 11 Home, you cannot be able to do this. So make sure you have a Windows 11 Pro or higher to do this. First, what we're gonna do, we're gonna tap in search and tap feature, and we're gonna look at this setting that says turn Windows feature on or off. This is what you are looking for. Then press here, and here's the tab. In this tab, you make sure to find where it says virtual Hyper-V. Let me make it bigger. You'll be looking for Hyper-V. Make sure to check it. On mine, it was not checked yet. Make sure to check this one and keep scrolling down. You see where it says Virtual Machine Platform. Check this one too. And go ahead and check the other one that says Windows Hypervisor Platform. Check this one. Windows Hypervisor Platform, Virtual Machine Platform, and Hyper-V. These are the three settings we were looking for. Make sure all these three settings are checked. And then we're gonna go ahead and press OK. And it's gonna tell us to restart. I recommend you restart the machine after this process so that the change can be applied. Otherwise, you won't be able to continue. So it is telling us to restart. As you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and hit restart. And it's restarting. So we're gonna give it a small time to restart. After our computer has restarted, now we're gonna go ahead in the setting and press on the search bar and just search for Hyper-V, and you will find this setting here that says Hyper-V Manager. When you get Hyper-V Manager, this is the one we're gonna be using for our demonstrations for today, and this software allows us to create virtual machines. So we're gonna go ahead and press enter, and here we are in Hyper-V Manager. So when you get into Hyper-V Manager, you can see the options. Some options, like the first option says quick create. When you use quick create, you will be able to create a virtual machine at a fast speed, and everything will be in, but it's not customized. It's not customized or designed as you want, but you can still change it later. But this is not what we're gonna be doing. We'll use the second method. I'm just gonna do this for demonstration just to show you. If you press quick create, this is what you will see. You will see these different packets like Windows 10 packet, Ubuntu, and Windows 11 environment. If you want to create a Windows 10, you can press here and go ahead and press create virtual machine, and Windows will go ahead and create virtual machine for you. So if you go to Windows 11, same thing, or Ubuntu. This is the easiest way, but it doesn't need like a lot of configuration. You can still configure later. So this is not what we're gonna be doing. Otherwise, we'll press on new, and here you can see where it says virtual machine or hard disk or floppy disk. This is the setting we use to create. But before we proceed, the first thing I wanted to take a look at is this virtual switch manager. Virtual switch manager, this is where we go and create a switch that will allow our virtual machine to get the network or to get the connections to the internet, or maybe to talk to other computers. Let's go ahead and press here. So virtual switch, as you can see when I clicked on virtual switch manager, This is the default. It's showing me the default switch. The default switch allow your computer to talk to your virtual machine, and yeah, this is like internal, because as you can see here we have external that says uh, if you press on external, it will tell you want to create a virtual machine that bind to the physical network adapter so that the virtual machines can access physical network. This allow your virtual machine to access physical network. But when you press internal, that shows that you want to create a virtual switch that can be used only by virtual machines that run on this physical computer and between the virtual machines and physical computer. An internal virtual switch does not provide connectivity to a physical network connection. What does this mean? This means your virtual machine will only be able to communicate with this machine that you use to create it, which is a host, and it will only be able to to communicate with other virtual machines on the same computer. But it will not be able to connect to another physical computer or another physical network. If you go to private, this says create a virtual switch that can be used only by virtual machines that run on this computer. As you can see, they already excluded the host. That means your virtual machine cannot even communicate with this physical computer. It can only communicate between other virtual machines. So we're gonna go ahead and create an external switch which will allow our virtual computer or virtual machine to communicate with physical networks so that it can be able to join the LAN, physical LAN, or other networks, or maybe talk to other computers. Well, we're gonna go ahead and hit create, and you can see here we have name, node, and other stuff. So what we're gonna do is click on the name and change the name. Now we are going to rename our virtual switch vSwitch. vSwitch 1. So my vSwitch 1, my virtual switch number 1, this is an external, different to the default. So as you can see, external is selected. If you go ahead and deselect and put internal network or private network, these are other settings you can use to manage your network. So we're gonna go ahead and click apply, and you will see this, but don't worry about this, just press yes, and the virtual switch is being created, and our virtual switch has done being created. Here we can see virtual switch 1. Then we have done it. Our virtual switch is created. Now let's press OK. So you can only be able to see this virtual switch we created when you press in virtual switch manager, and you can see we have a default switch here and the virtual switch 1 here, which we did create. So then the other thing we're going to do is to proceed with creating our virtual machine. After this, you will need to go on the network in Chrome or any browser you are using and download what we call Windows 11 ISO file here. Windows 11 ISO file. So here we are on the Microsoft website where we actually download software from Microsoft operating systems like Windows 10, Windows 11, other editions. So what we're gonna do here, we are here to download an ISO file. So you're gonna scroll down till you see where it says download Windows 11 disk image ISO for 64 devices. So you're gonna need to read a little bit about this and also go ahead and make sure you meet the specific requirements. Make sure these requirements are met before you go ahead and proceed. downloading your ISO file, and also you can follow the process down here on how to bend an ISO file to your virtual machine. So I'm not gonna do this for this video as I already downloaded it and it's already stored on my computer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create a virtual machine. Well, here we are. Uh, we already did the first part. We already created our virtual switch and virtual switch manager. The second thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and then press new and press virtual machine. If you want, you can first create a disk that will be joined to your virtual machine like we did for the virtual switch. We will need to join the switch to our virtual machine. But for now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a virtual machine. Let's go ahead. Here we are. So you can go ahead and read this before you start. Then click next. Here you need to specify the name and the location of your virtual machine. I'm gonna call this one VM3, VM3. So this is my third virtual machine. As you can see, I already have a VM1 and VM client on my computer. So then you're gonna go ahead and click next and choose the generation for your virtual machine. If you're installing some legacy softwares or maybe version of Windows that are not supported these days, like if you're installing Windows 7 and something 2000 and something like that, you want to choose generation number 1. But if you're installing Windows 11 or Windows 10 and more that use UEFI here, you want to select this just second generation because it says like this virtual machine generation provides support for newer virtualization features, has UEFI based firmware, and requires support for 64-bit guest operating system. So again, you want to read this. This one says, once the virtual machine has been created, you cannot change its generation. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you choose the generation based on which operating system you're going to install, which version of Windows you want to install. So for this demonstration, I'm gonna leave it to the second generation as I'm installing the Windows 11. So it's one of the newest. Then press next, and here we can set up the memory for our virtual machine. If you want to set up memories, you can modify these numbers. You can add or decrease, but it's gonna be 96 megabyte and above because I think you saw the specifications. Yeah, you have to read the specifications before you go ahead. Uh, I'm gonna leave this way, so I'm not gonna change. I'm okay with this. My computer has a lot of storage. I'm not worrying about the storage. Well, let's go ahead and press next. And here they are telling us to configure the networking. The networking, which means the switch we already did. It shows like connection, not connected. That means our virtual machine is not connected for now. So let's connect it to the switch we created. There's a default switch and the V switch number 1 we created before. Here it is. Now we're gonna join this switch to our virtual machine by pressing on it. Now it says connection V switch number 1, which means our computer or our virtual machine will need to take the connection from this switch. So then let's go ahead and press next. Here they are telling us to create a virtual hard disk. So if you already have a virtual hard disk created, you can press on use an existing virtual hard disk. If you need to attach a virtual hard disk later, as I show here before, when I pressed on create, they show as virtual disk. So if you created a virtual disk before, you wanna press on existing virtual disk and attach it. If you wanna attach it later, I mean you wanna create it later and attach it, you wanna go with this option. But for me, I'm gonna go with uh, create a virtual hard disk because I'm gonna create a virtual hard disk on the go. Well, the name is already here, VM3 virtual hard disk. The location is shown here. You can change the location by pressing on browser and specify which location you want your virtual disk to be on. Well, I'm not gonna change the setting. I'm gonna leave it as it is. And here, where it says size, these are the maximum. You can choose the size of your virtual hard disk if you want your virtual hard disk to have like 100 megabyte. I mean 100 gigabyte. You can just type in 100. If you want it to have like 60 gigabyte, it's up to you and your storage because you're gonna read the specification first and make sure you allocate the space that is not gonna affect your hard drive. So for me, I'm gonna leave it at 100 gig, which means my storage, my virtual hard disk on my virtual machine have 100 gig. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and press next. And here it's telling me that I need to install. These are the installation options. What we're installing here is the operating system. So install an operating system later if you want. Install an operating system from a bootable CD or DVD-ROM. You need to have a DVD with your operating system in it already burned, or use an image file ISO, which I have. Or you can also do install operating system from a bootable floppy disk. It depends on which kind of disk you use, or install an operating system from a network-based installation server. So I'm gonna go ahead with install using image file ISO, which I downloaded. So I'm gonna press browser and I'm gonna try to find my virtual hard disk. Should be in here. Well, here it is. It's named ISO 11, which is in Windows 11. Well, I'll press open, and now it's already here. You can see the path. So I'm gonna press next, and here is the summary of everything about my virtual machine: the name, the generation, the memory, the network, and the hard disk, and the operating system. Well, we're gonna go ahead and press finish, and there you can see our virtual machine has been created. So here's the virtual machine we just created, named VM3, and it's off, and we want to turn it on, but let's first do some configuration. Remember, this is Windows 11 we did, so let's go to the setting, and you want to come here to firmware and make sure uh, you choose the right device where your hard drive or where your Windows will boot from. Make sure you choose the best drive with your ISO file in it. As you can see, DVD drive is listed as the first here, which means my computer will need to boot from this device. If this was listed first, that means it shouldn't boot. Or if this was listed first, that means I need to have an operating system in here. So we need also to come here where it says security. Let's press here on security and make sure enable secure boot and trusted platform module is enabled. Make sure both of these are enabled. This is the TPM, and this is one of the specification for Windows 11 to run. So again, Let's see. This is where our operating system is, and here in the firmware it shows us that this disk is selected as the boot drive. Well, you want to move this up, just press on move up, this will move. You want to change the order, you want to move this down, just press move down. Well, let's go ahead and turn on our virtual machine and see. Alright, here we go. Let's start it. Then they are telling you to press any key for your virtual machine to boot. Let me press any key on my computer. Now you can see I pressed the key and now it's booting. Well, when it's already finished booting, now you go ahead and configure the following step. What you're gonna do is go ahead and start configuring. So you're gonna just press next because as you can see, the language says English United States, time and current format, English United States. Just leave it like that. If you are in another place, then you're gonna customize it. So the keyboard is still US, just press next. And now they are saying select the setup option. Repair my PC or install Windows 11. So what I'm gonna do here is install Windows 11. And we're gonna agree to the rule, agree to this rule. Make sure you check this box. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to continue. If you uncheck the box, you can see that the button that says next is being degraded, so we can use it. Well, let's go ahead and agree and press next. And now here they want you to put in a product key, and you just have to press I don't have a product key because this is a demonstration, so it's now gonna be like a computer I'll be using, so it's a demonstration. I don't have a product key. Select here and go ahead, let window do their stuff. So here you're gonna select which version of window you wanna install. I'll go with Windows 11 Pro instead of Windows 10 and other stuff. Wish I would do Windows 11 Pro. Let's go ahead and see. And now they are telling me to accept the end user license agreement. So accept this. Go then give it a little bit of time. Well, here's the disk. It's disk 0 unallocated space. This is the primary disk that we created with the 100 gig. Well, it's the one that's selected. We're just gonna have to press next. And now install. Now Windows 11 is being installed. So this takes a little bit of time. And now as you can see, Windows 11 is installed, and we're just gonna go ahead and do the simple installation. As always, if Windows is already here running, the other thing is just configuring the Windows. Just press yes because that's the country where I am. Same thing, press yes. And now you don't want to add a second keyboard, but if you want to, you can click add. So I'm gonna skip this. Now the computer is going to restart again. Here we go, we're done installing. So we soon just be configuring the normal setting and launching the Windows. Well, now they are telling me to rename the device, which I already renamed before. I'm gonna just keep the same name, VM3. I'll press next. So now they need me to set up this computer. You can choose to set up for work or school if this is gonna be controlled by your work or the school. But I'm gonna choose this, set up for personal use, and press next. Here, Windows is going to install all updates by itself. So it will take a little long. I'm just gonna pause the video for a while and resume when it starts. Well, after the restart now, we are going to be configuring few more steps and we'll be soon done. So when you get here, it will ask you to sign in with your Microsoft account if you have one, and if it was Windows 10, there was a way to skip this step, but for now this is kind of first step. You can't skip it. So we are gonna go ahead and sign in and done, get it done. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna use my Microsoft account. So here we go. And now putting my password. Let's go. Wow, the password was wrong. Here we go. After we sign into our Microsoft account, now we're gonna proceed with the next step. Windows 11 is very different to the last version, Windows 10, because we can skip, but for this one we cannot. So we're gonna go ahead and create a pin. I'm just gonna put a simple pin here and a simple pin again. Just repeat the step. Well, here we are. Let's accept. If you wanna customize, you can turn off some of those settings, but if they don't have any problem with you, just go ahead and click next. So here we're gonna click continue. So they're gonna ask me to restore the backup from other previous, which I don't wanna do. Well, let's see. I'm gonna set this one as a new computer, so I'm not gonna back up from other. Well, let's go ahead and click continue. More options. So I'm gonna set this one as a new PC because I don't wanna do the backup from other computers. Then set up as a new PC. Here we go. So now we have our Windows 11 up and running in few seconds. So this is the whole step we have to go through to install Windows 11, and In the first parts, I showed you how to create a virtual machine using Windows 11, and now we did installation for the whole process of Windows 11, which is a good thing to know. Well, you can select anything you want here, but for me, I'm gonna skip them for now. Depends on how you want to receive those ads. I'm gonna skip this one too. Skip again. So you can click accept for this. It depends. And here uh, I'm not gonna subscribe for Microsoft to have this subscription. So I'm gonna decline the offer. Decline this one too, and click next. Well, skip this one. And we're done. So what I'm gonna do is click connect, and my PC is now restarting. Here we go. So there is a time when this will happen. Let me mention this. There's a time when you created your virtual machine but you're not able to log in. However, any button you can click, you can see the login. It's still like an image, just like this. Whenever you encounter this kind of error codes, what to do here, just go here and click on view and uncheck the enhanced session. And now your PC will restart and will be able to run. As you can see, my computer is already running. So that's all for today's video. This is the Windows 11 we created. If we want to check the name to make sure, you're gonna see the name right here. When you go back to system, here it is, VM3. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much.